Psychobilly? Never heard of it. Today's my first time with The Living End and their track Prisoner of Society. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. My favorite thing on the channel is to jump into new territory, and that's what's on the menu today with punk rockabilly, or referred to as psychobilly. I've seen it mentioned a few different ways, but this was a breakout track for the band. Prisoner of Society was originally on the band's third EP called Second Solution, Prisoner of Society, in 1997, and it spent 69 weeks on the charts and was the best-selling Australian single of the 1990s. The band later went and recorded their self-titled debut album, and this track was re-recorded, and that was released in 1998, and I believe that's the version I'll be hearing today on their music video. This is a three-piece with an upright bass. I'm really intrigued, so let's get right to it. Prisoner of Society by The Living End. Okay. Wow. That's so weird to look at. Look at him go. Wow. Okay, first thoughts. I love that they've leaned into the authentic sound of an upright bass. You know, reading this as punk rockabilly, you know, I've heard rockabilly before, certainly not psychobilly, heavier kind of styles in rockabilly, but I was worried the tone was going to be kind of gritty or kind of affected, where it would be indiscernible to really tell a difference between an electric bass and a typical punk sound. But I've liked that they've left that authentic sound in there. Even when it got isolated here, you can hear the clickiness of the finger scrapes between the strings. It's very natural. Right here. I love that. I come from a jazz background. I grew up on that genre. And one of my favorite things, and one of the things that drew me to bass in general at a young age, was hearing the upright bass on a recording. And I felt like I could hear the bass player's every finger scrape, the moving around. It just was a very real sound. I felt like it was there, especially when I put headphones on. So I'm liking that they're leaning into that. And beyond the tone, he's really respecting like true rockabilly approach as a bass player. Because this riff here, listen. He's just hitting the quarters, bump, 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 you know, just really driving that pulse. I guess I got to turn my tone knob down. Because this riff here is a very punk riff. I think any other punk bass player playing electric bass would easily have just, you know, done something like that kind of thing, but he's just simplifying it. It's giving it that kind of rockabilly charm. It's a really endearing sound. I like the kind of the mashup of the two so far. Let's keep it going. But just first thoughts. Typical bass player who would just go dun dun digga digga and just kind of mirror that guitar energy, but it has a different kind of energy, albeit being kind of lighter and more nimble. He's fun to watch. Oh yeah. Big root fifth octaves, really kind of lining up that, wrapping up that progression there. It's very authentic to the style. That's a tongue twister. Woo! Interesting. Okay, I like when they go back into that kind of like old school metal sound. It was kind of it's a reprise of the intro. Let me go back and get those walking bass lines because The nimbleness of the part gave this punk rock sound such a unique sound. I've not heard anything like this before. I'm glad you guys recommended this. Then they went out of key there on a B flat, was like a flat major 7. Let's see. Yeah, it got real nimble here. C, up to F. This chord. Yeah, they're going up to the... But I think they modulated up to D major because there's an F sharp in there. Not to get too technical down that rabbit hole, but I love the... Again. Goes up to F. And then they went up to D. Interesting movement. Really kind of takes you on a journey, but I like that it's just bubbling along. This is so cool. Yeah, up to D. B flat. Kind of do that major 5 on the harmonic minor sort of sound. Really interesting. Okay, back to this. He is so fun to watch. Oh, and I saw that in the intro where he played it like an electric bass, where he's got the thumb kind of mounted here, floating thumb technique. You have a lot of space to put your thumb there just to get some kind of fulcrum point. And he was kind of playing that little reprise of that metal riff when it happened in the intro. Whatever that riff was. And then he goes into a complete change in technique. Now, to speak on that technique, I've not played upright bass. I don't own one. I've fooled around on them plenty out in the wild when I see them. But so I don't know enough to speak on that technique. But watching enough players do that, I know they do this thing where they kind of play a note and they supplement the rests with muted notes. And it kind of adds to that pulsy nature. And the technique, I believe, is kind of hitting a note and pulling a muted note up with your thumb. I could be speaking completely out of my ass here because nobody has shown me, but I'm just kind of remembering times I've seen good players play like that. It was kind of this pluck and then kind of muted note down here instead of going, kind of getting this thing. And there's a way they kind of bounce between them and it almost looks like a slap bass line. Let's keep it going. Here we go. I hope he does that live because that was epic. Almost like it was coming out of the screen and hit me in the face. I gotta see that again. Yes. Ooh, a little dissonant now. Wow. This is so fun. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, they really changed the song somewhere quick. I thought it might just be kind of a rehash of the first half, but they got a little kind of, almost like a little tech metal-y there on that guitar riff. A little bit of nuances and quick pull-offs, kind of big open dissonant chords. We had an A up to a B flat, then there were some half-step intervals between D and E flat, giving it a bit of a... I loved that. Did not expect it to go there. This band's full of surprises. I want to hear that again. Yeah. They only do it once because it kind of changes really quickly. Kind of progressive in a way. That's sick. Woo! Holy shit. Oh my gosh.
Well, we don't need no one to tell us what to do. Why, if we're on our own?
I did not expect the song to go here. Just the musicality of them weaving really quickly between out of psychobilly, then it went more traditional rockabilly for a second, kind of in the chorus. They kind of hinted at this weirdness with a little bit of those out-of-key chords I was talking about. Did a key change up to D major. They threw a B-flat major in there. Not exactly sure where they were going or what that relates to. I'm just kind of calling it as I hear it. Then it got a little tech metal-y with these little dissonance, and then it went into this full like explosion of rockabilly soloing. All the signatures are there, but it's like a heavier version of it. And I like that the bass player just ramped up his phrasing in that bass line just a few notches up. Instead of the quarter note thing, he puts a little more movement in there. Something like that. I want to hear it again because I feel like just changing that bass line added so much energy from what he's established earlier in the song. Listen to this. Dun, 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 dun. He wasn't doing that early. It was more of just a quarter note straight thing. This section's epic. So cool. Breaking it up. That's catchy. Love how they add that one long note in there, which just sticks out like a sore thumb. That little thing. Just good accents and articulation. I like the sparse nature of this. And they kind of got this really kind of hooky, melodic kind of chant thing here. I imagine this is sort of an audience participation thing. And I almost want to revisit that epic section again. I don't want to make this too long, but it's some really cool twists and turns in there. One thing I want to comment on is I love that the natural decay on an upright bass note is really short. You kind of get more of a transient doom and dies out really quick. You don't have this, electric instrument. It's kind of like, it's almost hard to imitate, and that's just it. It's hard to imitate that on upright bass, to get those walking bass lines at that speed to sound that nimble. Bump, 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 bump. There's a lot of separation, and I don't think he's doing that natively with his technique. I think that's just the nature of how an upright bass note kind of projects and comes through. So to play walking bass lines at that speed and still have that really bouncy, nimble quality, it's really hard. It's almost a diminishing returns thing because you get a lot of that extraneous fret noise. But I love it. What a cool thing. All right, let's play this out.
Cause I'm not listening to anything you say. And if you count to three, you'll see it's no emergency.
There's that B flat.
You'll see I'm not the enemy, just a prisoner of society.
Riding on that major 5. Whew. That was a frickin' blast, I have to say. And it wasn't as weird or like esoteric as I thought. But I love that it was just a completely different take on what I've come to know with punk rock. And I just love that they leaned into the authentic qualities of an upright bass. And that's kind of like a hallmark of the sound. And I feel like an electric player with a gritty, kind of wide open P bass tone, it would make the song a completely different type of energy. This had that kind of, again, charming, kind of nimble, light. It just makes your body want to move. And I love that the bass just had the authentic sound. He even approached the parts authentic to a more rockabilly type thing. What a cool meshing of two worlds, at least in my mind. I'm sure this is a lot more rampant than I've been exposed to genre-wise, but three-piece sounds awesome. The guitar work was great. Lots of little twists and turns, and I feel like the breadth of this band sound is probably pretty large, just based on the sampler size and the sampler they gave me in this song. Thank you guys for requesting The Living End. I know a lot of you are going to request, I think, Frenzel Rom. They're on the list. Now I really want an upright bass. That goes without saying. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. Please come find us on Patreon if you'd like to support the channel further. I do full album reactions and breakdowns. I have a lot of bass lessons and tons of resources for music. Come check it out. While you're here, please like. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. I love you all. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time.